This third of the three under the future of the church in Africa will focus on the prominence of the global church, of the African church in the global Catholic Church, under three headings, looking at numbers first, then vitality, and then leadership. The first place to start might just simply be the likely future demographics of the church in Africa in relationship to the global Catholic communion. There are now perhaps 180 million African Catholics, approximately 1 out of 6 or 1 out of 7 Catholics in the world being African. However, that number is likely to double over the next 3 decades to about 350 million in 2050 due to birth rates and conversions, which is going to mean that the percentage of Catholics in the world who are African is going to increase from 1 of 6 to 1 in 4 and eventually likely to 1 in 3. So there's simply a demographic growth in African Catholics, so that eventually it wouldn't be surprising if one of the representative Catholics in the world would be thought of as an African. That's a big change. The change is only more prominent when you think about the differentiations in vitality, because many Catholics in traditionally Catholic countries in the West and in other places, including Latin America, don't go to church or don't participate as vibrantly as African Catholics. So when you're in Africa, you just recognize that people love their faith and they participate in their faith with joy and enthusiasm. That's very visible at liturgy, but it's also visible in other ways. For Catholics, of course, one of the most prominent signs of this engagement are the vocations to religious life as men and women in congregations shaped by vows, and also to the priesthood. Seminaries in Africa and formation programs for sisters, brothers, and priests are full and turn away a lot of qualified and honest and engaged people with integrity that want to pursue this life. So such people pursue the vocations in other ways, which is great. And if you're an active Catholic in this country, in the United States, for instance, you probably would have recognized African Catholic religious and priests in your diocese. The vitality of the Catholic Church does raise questions about its political impact. In certain countries, I think that political impact has been a bit mixed, as we've discussed already. And certain Catholic leaders have not represented their faith or the integrity of the church very well. Others have been remarkably effective and generous and impactful in positive ways. One of the questions I think political scientists would ask about the future is the extent to which African Catholics are going to become some reliable voting bloc around any sort of issue. And again, there's a mixed record in a variety of places. In some places, Catholics have voted en masse, usually when a candidate appealed to them because of his or her Catholic identity. At other times, the church has tried to persuade Catholics to vote based on their faith with some lack of success, which has also been very interesting. It's hard to know what's going to look like moving forward. The final thing I want to talk about is the prominent role that African Catholics are going to be playing and continue to play in the global Catholic Church. Those of you who pay attention to these things will recognize the names of Cardinals Turkson, Bisungu, and Zampalanga as global Catholic leaders in a variety of ways. Cardinal Turkson is head of the dicastery that promotes integral human development, a new office in the Vatican by which Pope Francis brought together a number of pre-existing groups. So he's one of the most powerful people in the Vatican. Cardinal Turkson is originally from Ghana. He actually went to a secondary school run by the Congregation of Holy Cross in Ghana. Cardinal Bisungu is the Cardinal of Kinshasa, a relatively young man, prominent in his country. And Cardinal Zampalanga has made quite a reputation for himself as a peacemaker and peacekeeper, cooperating with Protestants and Muslims in his country, the Central African Republic, where he's the bishop of the capital, Bangui. That country suffered a lot of unrest with religious roots, and Cardinal Zampalanga has been courageous and impactful in working for peace there. In addition, besides kind of formal leadership as bishops, there are a number of prominent Catholic African theologians in the world. I'd highlight a few of them: Ludovic Lado, a Jesuit from Cameroon and a sociologist, but also a theologian. So Teresia Hinga, who teaches at Santa Clara in California. And then on our own faculty, Father Paulinus Odozora Spiriton from Nigeria, and Father Emmanuel Katongole, a Ugandan, who's in the theology department and the Kio School for Global Affairs. All of these have international reputations And there are a variety of other African Catholic theologians whom I could mention. Increasingly, they have a large voice in the global Catholic theological enterprise, which is terrific because it reflects the vital life of the church in Africa. Finally, I would say, I think that Teresa Nyenga is just one of many prominent Catholic women who are very well educated, who are African, and who will play an increasingly prominent role in the life of the church, both in Africa and globally. These are women who are in religious communities, and many of whom are getting educated, advanced degrees, including at Notre Dame. And I'll be discussing with one of them, I'm our current student, Sister Edelquin Shivachi, in the discussion that will follow these videos. But there are many others, so that the Catholic Church, through its leadership and leadership positions, will continue to play a vital role, a growing vital role in the global Catholic Church and in Africa. So a final thought as we wind down these three sections of the Church in Africa, the third being the future of the Catholic Church in Africa. There's a great African proverb. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. My hope and prayer for the global church and for the African Catholic Church would be that the African Catholic Church finds its rightful place among the global Catholic communion. It plays a prominent role that it is due to its growth and vitality and generous contributions of so many African Catholics, and also that its gifts are used well for the life of the global Catholic communion. Once again, thanks to you for joining me for these presentations, and if possible for the shared sessions that will be happening on Tuesdays. And thanks to the Alumni Association and ThinkND for putting all this together.